السلام عليكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت. اللهم اجعل كل أعمالنا صالحة ولوجهك خالصة، ولا تجعل لأحد منها في شيء يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعلنا هداة مهديين لا ضالين ولا مضلين. اللهم إنا نسألك رضاك والجنة ونعوذ بك من سخطك والنار. Are we the same crowd like last time, or you guys were here last time when we were talking about Rububiyyah and Uluhiyyah? No? Yeah? Okay. Alright. Last time we were talking about the meaning of Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen and what it means, Rabbil Alameen. What it means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rabb, which word that often translated to Lord. But in Arabic it's a lot deeper than that. And it's only 2 letters word, Rabb. So what's Rabb say?
It's like complete the Lord of the world and control everything and
Yes. The Lord of the worlds, meaning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator and the provider for everything, living or non-living, on the universe. Whether we admit that or not. Meaning, you don't have to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for Allah to take care of you and to provide for you. You don't have to. And that's the meaning of Rububiyyah. And we said that in Arabic, they even call the household, the head of the household, Rabbul Bayt, right? We talked about that last time, that the parent who's taking care of the household called Rabbul Bayt. And Rububiyyah is the first thing that we need to believe in Allah. The first thing that you need to know about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He is Rabb, that He's the provider, that He's the creator, that He's the one in charge. The second thing, Al-Uluhiyyah, which we always repeat. To be a Muslim, you have to say what? You have to say, to be a Muslim, what's the gate to Islam? La ilaha illa Allah. La ilaha illa Allah. Shahada. So, there's something unique about this sentence, La ilaha illallah. You can say it without even moving your lips. Try it. You know why? To be easy, always, the easiest things, one of the easiest sentences you can say, La ilaha illallah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it the last thing that we say, actually. Because if we die saying that, this is the last thing that we witness. We'll come Yawm al-Qiyamah in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bearing witness there is no God but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we know the reward for that, Jannah. So, one of the easiest sentences you can say is La ilaha illallah. And if you notice the letters in it, it doesn't have Ayn, Ghin, Qaf, Dad, one of the hard letters in Arabic that makes it hard for non-Arabic speakers. The letters in it is one of the very common in any language. All the languages actually have these letters. La ilaha illallah. Al-alif wal-lam wal-ha. That's it. That's a miracle in this sentence. But what it means? What La ilaha illallah means? What it means? No. Nor. There's no God but Allah. Now. Anyone else has a comment on it? La ilaha illallah. So we believe in no God but Allah. What the importance of the first part of it, that there is no association with Allah. Because somebody can believe that Allah is God, but he believe also that Jesus is God, believe in, cow is God, and rock somewhere is God, and you're laughing, people believe in this thing as God. And here's the thing, that we thank Allah that He allowed us to know Him. You know why? Think about it. Those who didn't get a chance to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what happened to them? They made something so they can worship. Because it's in nature, in your fitrah, in your nature, that you want to worship. You want to believe in something. So for those who didn't get a chance to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they might worship the sun. It looks big, it looks strong. The moon, rocks. Cow, actually it's millions of people in this world still till 2014 worship a cow. Or anything else for that matter. But alhamdulillah that He allowed us to know Him. So we can worship the true God. So we believe that there is no God whatsoever but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the base of everything you do in your life. Meaning, you're here today to improve, same thing like I'm here today, to improve myself and be a better Muslim. And the best place to do that is the masjid. So you're in the right place to improve and to get better and to feel closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because you're in His house. This is the closer. And you're the closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you make sujood. Right? But before we do all of that goodness, we have to clear in our hearts that we believe in Allah ultimately. Absolutely. No boundaries, no questioning, no doubts in our minds about Allah, about His existence, about His creations, about His giving, His abilities. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mutlaq. Mutlaq eh? Al-hikmah wal-qudra wal-mashi'ah. We have to believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the absolute power. Meaning, there's no condition in His power. Wherever He wants something to be done, He will get it done. That's Allah. Wal-hikmah, the wisdom and knowledge, ultimately belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wal-mashi'ah. Al-mashi'ah, the will. We'll have that. We'll plan for future. We'll plan to do things, right? Which is good. You should plan. You should think things in the future. But it's not usually, and it's not always, happens as we plan. It might happen, percentage-wise. But the only one that His will is a fact is Allah. And we believe in that. That's why everything we say, insha'Allah. Meaning, if Allah's will. Because if He doesn't want it, it's not going to happen. So that's the meaning of insha'Allah. It doesn't mean no, as we all think it means. Insha'Allah does not mean no. It means if Allah's will. Especially Egyptians, I know that in our culture, if you ask for something and your parent tell you insha'Allah, that's forget it. So that's not what it means. If Allah's will. This is all what I'm saying. It might be theoretical. It might be something that we're not able to relate to too much. But fortunately, right now, somewhere in the world, millions of people believed in that fact and acted upon it. Millions of people believe there is no God but Allah, answered the call of Allah, and left everything behind. Their businesses, their work, their families, their money, everything. Matter of fact, even their clothes, because they dress specially for the occasion. And they went to Hajj. Because if we believe in something and we don't act upon that belief, it's not really a belief. So those people, fortunate enough, may Allah accept from them, that they left everything behind and they went to answer the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and perform Hajj. The lowest estimate maybe like 2 million people there. Right? From where they're coming? Every part in the world. You can claim that there is no country in the world does not have people going to Hajj right now. I don't think there's any country in the world that does not have representatives in the Hajj group, in the biggest human conference. Have we ever seen a gathering of that magnitude before? This only happened in Hajj, by the way. And here's the miracle thing. They all do the same thing. Something very common, maybe you're too young to experience that, in the Muslim communities all over the place, even in the same city like us, we don't really like to agree on things. You know, we don't like to do the same things. You know, you see everyone doing his own, you know, there's disagreements usually, there's differences, there is kind of interest. But in Hajj, always remind us every year that it's possible that this ummah, the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, one day they can unite it. They could be one body. They could be moving on one direction. Here is the miracle thing that has always amazed me. If you have a room full of 10,000 people, I'm not going to say 200 people like here in Aisha, for example, or a bigger masjid. Let's say 10,000 people. Can you think of that? Imagine that, 10,000 people. Add to that, they don't speak the same language. Add to that, they have different cultures and preferences, and they're totally different. And try to get them to stay in line. 10,000. How long is it going to take you to do that? I would say a few hours. Based on experiences of trying to get people to do something, few hours. Well, in Hajj, they're going to stay in line, they're in circles. And they're not 10,000, they're 2 million. And how long it take them to take that shape of prayer? Just the Imam says, Taqimu. Straight in for prayer. 2 minutes later, you say that many of people. It's amazing. It's a miracle in itself. Think about it. That those people form perfect circles for prayers. Keep in mind, they don't really speak Arabic. Not all of them. Keep in mind, actually, the Arab percentage, the Arab speaking percentage of total Muslim population is about 25 to 28%. That's all. So the majority of Muslims don't really speak Arabic right now. So that miracle of unity, that we as Muslims have a sense of one ummah, that we all can gather around a goal of obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Did they gather for any interest, for anyone going to give them money, or scared of the imam, or don't even get to see the imam most of the time? They gathered and they performed to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's the lesson of Hajj. And look at the circle. The circle around Kaaba. Well, I'm sure all of us, how many of us seen that image? People praying around Kaaba of Hajj. All of us, right? Anyone didn't see it before? Have you seen it? Yeah. Perfect circles, and that circles actually increase till a certain point that we don't see it after Mecca, but it keeps going to cover the whole earth. Matter of fact, this line If you're standing on it right now, the line I'm standing here, lining up for prayer, it will connect with another masjid close by, another masjid. Maybe somebody will face us from the other side, they're praying in Japan. Okay? Big, huge circle that covers earth. It's still circle. This straight line is a part of a big circle. We have to believe that. Can you visualize that? Can you visualize the unity of Muslims? That we all one body. That Muslims supposedly united to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what triggered all of that? La ilaha Ila Allah. We all believe there is no God worth of worshipping but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alright. I like this line. Okay. Alright. So Quran was revealed to teach us that Allah is only one God. He didn't tell the Muslim, go read in that book, or go listen to this lecture, or look for resources here and there. What it is, look around you. Open your eyes. See the nature. Look at a tree. Look at the sky. Look at the stars. The oceans. That should have a maker. All this creation should have a maker. How come day and night they keep following each other in a very precise system? There is a maker, there is a creator. There is someone has a control. Who's that? Who created me? Who made you in that perfect shape? Who made us all the same yet different? Who? Who? Who created you? Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this fact needs to settle in our heart. And every time we see any of His creation should remind us of La ilaha illallah. So this day is the first 10 days of the Hijjah from the Sunnah that we say a lot of dhikr, a lot of remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And let the universe remind you of Allah. So every time you see something of His creation, say La ilaha illallah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, أفضل الذكر لا إله إلا الله. The best you can say is La ilaha illallah. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. جزاكم الله خير.